Hey there, what's up? What are we going to do in this lesson? Well, first of all, I'm going to show you some of the basic tools that Illustrator offers for drawing and designing. Those of you already familiar with the tools can skip this step. However, if you want to go deeply into them or don't know them at all, I invite you to watch this step. First, open up Illustrator and we're going to work in an A4 file. Set width to 10 millimeters. No bleed is needed. Name it Christmas and hit create. Okay, what I'm going to do now is open the sketch I made before in Illustrator. There it goes. Great. Then I'm going to call this layer Sketch. Create a new one on which we are going to draw. Simply reduce the sketch's opacity so that we can draw on it easily. Why? Well, if I create here a line and reduce the sketch opacity, I can see both the sketch and my drawing. See? Also, between the sketch and the stroke layers, I'll insert a new layer for the guides. We'll see it in a moment. Now, insert a rectangle covering all the canvas. Now, if we make the rectangle smaller from a corner, it's not reduced proportionally. So to keep the proportion, draw a small square and, okay, let's delete it. Okay, so we have here this small square and in the panel on the right, select the Align tab and choose the option Align to Artboard. Then align left edges and align top edge. Copy and paste with Command C and V. Align the new square to the left and to the top. Copy both of them and paste them at the bottom. Adjust them individually. This to the right and this to the left. Then press Command R to show the rulers. Drag the ruler into position like that, perfect. And it will automatically adjust it to the objects. What happens? Well, as the four squares have the same size, when I delete them, the guides are placed at the same distance. The outer guides, the outside guides are ready, and now we are going to do the inner guides. What we are going to do is insert a grid as we had on the sketch we made previously. I want to work with thin lines and also with parallel lines. So I think I'm going to create a sort of grid, okay, a small grid. How so? Well, this way will be able to draw the lines similarly and following the same direction. But I think it's easier to understand it with an example, okay? There are different options to create a grid. We can drag, one of them is by drawing and dropping guides like that. Select them, deactivate the option Align to Artboard, and select Align to Selection. And then click on the horizontal distribute space button to distribute the guides using exact distances. Okay, let's remove it. Another way to do it is to insert little squares until getting a grid, which also keeps exact distances. A third option is to insert common lines like this, okay? Copy and arrange them as corresponds. Okay, when you finish, what we are going to do is select all of them. Okay, let me check if it's adjusted to the guides we did previously. Perfect. Okay. So as I was saying, select all of them, deselect the guides, distribute them horizontally, make the selection bigger. Okay, then go to the View menu, hover over Guides and select Make Guides. All these lines are now guides. And they are adjusted to the outside guides we did previously, okay? So, guides can also be selected, duplicated, and so on. The advantage of converting line to guides is that when I draw over it, let's select yellow. Okay, let's color it yellow, for instance. The stroke doesn't cover the guides, unlike here, where the stroke is above the line. Okay, now what I'm going to do is the horizontal lines, the horizontal guides of the grid before moving on. When the guides are ready, make sure they all are in the same layer. When I select them, the selection turns into the layer's color. For example, here it's green, and if I change it to orange, the selection will turn orange. Well, there's not much difference between red and orange, so I'm going to choose another color. I think green again. Yeah. So, if you go to View and Guides and lock the guides. However, I prefer to lock the layer directly. Let's select the stroke layer where we are going to draw our design. Guys, we can appreciate the sketch, right? It's because of the grid, so increase the opacity. Great, so the first tool we're going to use is the pen tool. And now I'm going to show you the different options this tool offers. To begin with, we can create straight lines by simply clicking on Drop In. If I want to create complex forms like curves, just click and drag. Okay, now with the handles, we can create and adjust the curve or even create a wave. It's also possible to modify the stroke width. Here at the top, I can increase the value to make the stroke wider and change the stroke profile, or even the brush definition to get diverse effects. Another thing you should know is that when working with shapes, like circles, it's possible to add anchor points, which lets us control the shape. Okay, so these are anchor points, and I can use them to control the shape and modify it. Then use the handles to modify the stroke and change the direction. There's also a tool for deleting anchor points. Select and remove. This tool is really useful in those paths with many anchor points. We can delete as many as we want. See? Cool. Another tool is the anchor point tool, which is this one. And this tool lets us turn sharp paths into curves. See? These pointed corners are turned into curves. See, I click on here and stretch, and I created a curve. Pay attention to the following. With the direct selection tool activated when I move a handle, its opposite also moves automatically. However, if we use the pen tool, we can move a handle without altering its opposite. This is the tool I use the most. The pen tool. Okay, as I told you before, it also allows us to modify certain parameters. Let's see some of them. Here we can modify the path's weight. The cap option modifies the ends of the path. This is a bat cap, a round cap, and a projecting cap. The option below is similar but acts in the corners. I want this corner round, or bevel join, or meter join. These first two, okay, these are the default settings. Now I'm going to draw a closed shape. You can choose any shape, like a star. This time I'm going to create 3 circles, okay? 1, 2, and 3. Then go to the menu at the top and click on Stroke. Keep the default properties and select the option Align Stroke to Center. what happens? The width, that is, the points, is equally distributed inside and outside the circle. If we choose the option align stroke to inside, the stroke is entirely aligned to the inside of the circle and it seems smaller. All of them are the same, however, they change when we align it to the outside or the inside, okay? Also, we can modify the line, for example, make it dashed. Let me draw a rectangle to see this effect clearly. Open again the strokes menu. This option preserves exact dash and gap distance. It starts here, okay? This other one aligns dashes to corners and path ends, adjusting lengths to fit. Here you can set the gap between dashes, both the dash and the gap. See? Now if I select a round join and a round cap, dashes turn to dots, which can be modified by altering the number of points. See? And I got a dotted line. Okay. And the last thing. When working with a non-uniform stroke profile, well, let me uncheck the dashed line box first. We can also include arrowheads at the ends and change the style. We can even select the different arrowheads in each end. The stroke profile can also be modified here. Okay, let me remove the arrow to see it clearly. This profile reminds me to the stroke of a brush. Well, and here I can modify the profile orientation, see? We can flip it. Actually, there are numerous parameters regarding brushes. In this menu, we can select different predetermined styles and parameters offered by Illustrator. See, there are lots and lots of them. I don't use them very often. Well, I do, but I create my own brushes. I'll show you how to do it later. Well, I do use these when I want to imitate a brush stroke. Guys, just play around and explore all the options. You can download brushes if you want. Well, guys, in the following lesson, I'm going to show you how to create your own brushes. Are you ready?